It's easy to get stuck reaching for the same familiar fruits and vegetables, even when you know a colorful variety is key. Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie supplements don't replace fruits and vegetables, but it makes it easy to add more variety to what you already eat. With 31 ingredients that are whole fruits and vegetables, switching it up is easy because we've already taken care of the hard part. Go to balanceofnature.com and get a free fiber and spice supplement, plus 35% off your first set as a new preferred customer by using discount code POD.
The More Money Show with Steve Moore. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome back, folks. This is the More Money Show, and we are now really honored to have one of the smartest people I know. That is Jeff Yass, who is the president of Susquehanna International Group. And he has been in the news a lot lately because he just recently donated $100 million to the University of Austin, which is an alternative college. I find this to be an amazing project. If this works, it really could be the solution to our escalating costs of colleges and universities, and also provide people with a real education. And it's about time we take on the empire of the universities. So, Jeff, thanks so much for joining.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me, Steve.
So let's get right down to it. First of all, tell people, most people I think are just starting to hear about Austin University. How did you get involved in this? And tell us how it's different. How is University of Austin different from all of the other colleges out there?
It's the University of Austin at Texas, so it's in Austin, right next to the University of Texas. So there's 92 freshmen, there's 72 sophomores, and the idea of the school was started by Panos Kanelos, and his idea was he had to start a new school basically based on classical learning, a lot of Greeks, ancient philosophers and stuff, but also with classical liberalism, a big dose of classical liberalism. So I thought it was a great idea. They got great kids. They have Joe Lonsdale, who was great venture capitalist. They got Barry Weiss, who was great, and they have Neil Ferguson, who was a great free market economic historian. So they had a great lineup of people. I met the kids, and they were just incredible. These are kids who could have gone to very prestigious schools. Instead, they chose to go here because it's small and entrepreneurial. And their kids just blew me away with their energy. And my idea was, let's give you enough money so that no one has to pay, with a promise, but not a legal commitment, that if you do well in life, you'll pay back. Oh. And the idea is the school is like a business. It's committed. If it doesn't do a good job and the kids aren't successful and they can't pay back, then the school fails, just like in the real world, as opposed to.
I love that idea.
So
what I love about that idea, Jeff, is that right now I've always felt like with respect to all the unpaid student loans, rather than the taxpayers be on the hook of that, the universities who gave these people a crappy degree that's not worth anything, they're the ones who should pay for it if the kids haven't paid back their student loans. So you're saying now you're basically giving this school an incentive to make sure that these kids are getting a degree that's worth something, that they're actually learning something, and that they're going to be able to get a good job when they get that diploma, because they've actually got something that is worthwhile and they've actually got a first-class education.
Yeah, exactly. That's the idea. And as Milton Friedman said about, profit and loss, it's like hell in Catholicism. If, the loss part's just as important as the profit part, that if we don't do a good job and the kids don't pay back, the school will fail, which it should. And we're incentivized to make sure we do everything we can for them. If we do well, the school goes on. And if we don't, the school collapses.
And so the University of Austin is in Austin, Texas. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
And you said it's just beginning. So you have have there been any graduation? When did it start?
It started that we only have a sophomore class, but a great story is, and this really was incentivized me to give. Last year, the freshman class, 5 kids went to work for Peter Thiel. He liked them all. He offered them all. He liked them all full-time jobs. It was just an internship.
Wow.
Two of the kids took it. So two of the kids went to college for a year and then said, well, I don't need it. I got a good job. So that's the kind of entrepreneurial spirit that we love to see. Most colleges would say, oh, if you drop out, you're a shame to a society. We're saying, come here. If you got something better to do, go do something better.
So I have a stepson, who is in high school. He's a senior. He's actually a really, really smart kid, but he didn't get good grades in high school. Sort of like me. I was not an A student by any means when I was I was more interested in girls than I was in my classes. But this is a smart kid. He's got a high IQ. Now, how does somebody get into the school? How does he do it?
Well, the admissions criteria are great. It's basically just a high SAT score or ACT score. We barely look at your grades. There's no, recommendations from teachers, which is all BS.
Right.
There's no community service. You don't have to be on 20 different clubs and stuff like that.
Right.
We just want you to prove that you're smart with a high test score, and the application is basically a postcard, and then you're in.
And so now what about the tuition?
The tuition is zero.
What?
That's it. The tuition is free. That's the whole idea.
Wow.
That's what $100 million is for. The tuition is free, so no one pays anything. The room and board it costs about $24,000 per kid. I mean, they have to pay for, there are apartments right near the school, and the kids like to cook, so they sort of cook for themselves. There's no cafeteria or anything like that, so they cook for themselves. So all tuition is fully paid for, and you're responsible for your own room and board.
Now, I'm sure there's not a football team yet.
No, and there's 92 kids. They're not winning. They're not beating the University of Texas, but they're right next to the University of Texas. So when they want to go to the games, they have all the excitement of a college.
And so, is it men and women?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. And so, what kind of, can you take classes in science and math and all the Can you?
So it's a lot of STEM classes, a lot of classical stuff, and then STEM classes, a lot of entrepreneurial classes, a lot of coding classes, and we're even sending a Susquehanna quant down there next semester to teach a poker class.
Right,
so you can be a poker major if you want.
It's amazing. And so, by the way, I'm talking to Jeff Yass from Susquehanna Capital. University costs have risen at 3 or 4 times the rate of inflation over the last 30 years, and yet the level of education is falling.
Yeah. So that's why what we're really shooting for is a separation of education and state. The government should have as little role in education as possible. We, by the way, one of the things that's in our charter is we will not take a nickel from the government. Okay? So no government funding, so we don't have to battle with different administrations about different policies. We're free to do whatever we want. And we ask all other universities, could you do the same thing? So all these conflicts that we have now, in these contentious times, they're not necessary. Harvard, you have $58 billion. See if you can squeak by on $58 billion. You don't need to take the $1 billion a year or so that you get from the government. Tell them to get out of here, and then you can do whatever you want. Any programs you want to do, that's up to you. You're a private institution, but you became quasi-government, and now all the conflict, all the unnecessary fighting comes as a result of that.
Incredible. So, Jeff, we have to take a quick break. Can you stick around for one more segment?
Sure.
Okay,
we'll
be right back, folks. Having a fascinating conversation with the great Jeff Yass. This is the More Money Show, and we will be right back.
The More Money Show with Steve Moore on the Red Apple Podcast Network. If If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com.
Once upon a mundane morning, Barb's day got busy without warning. A realtor in need of an open house sign. No, 50 of them, and designed before 9.
My head hurts.
Any mighty tools to help with this plight?
Aha!
Barb made her move. She opened Canva and got in the groove.
Bulk creating Canva sheets. Create 50 signs fit for suburban streets.
Done in a click, all complete.
Sweet!
Now, imagine what your dreams can become when you put imagination to work at Canva.com.
The More Money Show with Steve Moore. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Welcome back, folks. This is the More Money Show. Thanks so much for joining. I'm continuing my conversation with Jeff Yass, who is with Susquehanna Capital and is one of the leading advocates in the country for school choice, giving every parent and every child in America the right to go to the best school that they can, whether it's public, whether it's private, whether it's a charter school, whether a Catholic school, a Jewish school, a Montessori school. I believe that's a human right, and I think you do too, Jeff. So first of all, thank you, Jeff Yass, for doing so much for providing these kinds of scholarships and so on. But we need to have the government allow people to escape from these failing schools. And some of that money should follow the children and the parents, not the education bureaucracy.
Yeah, I agree. Just to show you how bizarre the situation has gotten. You know, the situation was bad 30 years ago. Since the last 30 years, the amount of money we spend on education, inflation adjusted, has doubled. So it was bad 30 years ago. It is absurd now. In New York City, they spend $40 billion on 900,000 kids. That's $44,000 per kid. Could you imagine the waste and the fraud that's in there? So if you had a policy that said, give the kid a $22,000 voucher, they can go to a great charter school, they can go to, even Catholic schools don't cost anywhere near that amount. Put the $22,000 in the kid's bank account, he'll graduate with $300,000 and have a better education. Wow. You ask, how can we...
Wait, hold on, Jeff, because I want to make sure... Hold on. This is amazing. So you're saying they could spend half of what they do spend, and they could give the other half to the kids, so that when they graduate, they have money in the bank and they get a better education.
Right. Much better education, school of their choice, with a $300,000 bonus when you graduate. Okay.
Amazing.
Now, it seems too good to be true, but do the math. It's true, and the only reason it doesn't happen is because of the power of the teachers' union and their hold on the Democratic Party. I mean, the situation.
Well, I was just going to say, I've been to many of your, your Yass Prize, where you're giving out awards, cash awards to some of these great private schools, and I've been to many of your awards, and it's the most inspiring thing I've ever seen. I mean, these kids, they're Hispanic, they're Black, they're white, they're for low-income, middle-income families that are really so appreciative of having this alternative to often failing schools. And most of them are from inner cities. They're very poor areas. It's just a shame that I see these kids, I get so inspired by them, Jeff, and then I wonder, why can't everyone have this opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, it's really, to me, the greatest, shame of the country. They could all have that opportunity. They could be happy. And it's not like this is some new government program where we have to raise taxes. It's actually going to be a tax deduction, which we can do it so much better and so much cheaper that there's no new taxes. But the labor union, the teachers' unions have the jobs. They know they can't compete. They fight tooth and nail to prevent these things from happening. So that's the bad news, that they're fighting us like crazy. The Yass Prize is done. The demand is there as there's more schools that have states that have ESAs, education savings accounts. The problem is the supply.
By the way, can you explain to people what is an education savings account?
An education savings account like the one passed in Texas will give every child $10,000. You can go wherever you want. here's $10,000.
Wow.
And that's enough to cover, the vast majority of Catholic schools or private schools or charter schools. Or if you want to start a homeschool and get 5 or 6 kids together, you now have $50,000 or $60,000 to go hire. If you don't know you don't know chemistry, you can hire the chemistry teacher for for an hour a day or something like that. And all these little groups could happen, and there'll be a wonderful amount of freedom, much cheaper and much better. But the problem was that the Yass Prize tried to solve is when this massive demand comes in, because it doesn't start till 2027 in Texas. Where's the supply? The government has shut down the private sector from doing anything in education. For 150 years. So we are giving money out to these entrepreneurs who have done a small, a typical entrepreneur would have like 500 kids. And he says, you know what, I can have 5,000 if I had the money. So we're trying to get, fund these entrepreneurs so that they can expand, dramatically and meet the demand. So
our flagship station for this show is New York on WABC. And, New York, I think they spend $35,000 or so per student. And the results are, 44. What is it? 44,000.
44,000. $40 billion divided by 900
per year.
Kids.
Per year?
Yes, per year. Yeah.
Oh my God! So you can practically go to Harvard for that amount of money, and
you can go to Andover if you want.
So I mean, we shouldn't laugh because it's such a serious issue that we're spending $44,000, and I looked up the research. In a Catholic school, it's closer to $20,000, and so and the Catholic schools have superior results. So in other words, you could pay half as much and get better results if we just let these kids go to Catholic schools.
Right. Right.
I mean, why wouldn't we let that? I mean, it's so stupid that we don't allow, if anybody who cares about the children of our country and cares about our future as a country. I mean, Jeff, I'm an economist. The thing that scares me the most, because I love this country, we're the world economic superpower. How can we be the world economic superpower when half the kids graduating from some of these high schools don't even know how to read or do basic math?
Yeah, it's and they're in schools that are violent and that it's uncomfortable. And besides the fact that they're not getting education, it's just miserable, and there's just no reason for it. That's why I chose this as the as the policy that I'm most trying to change, because I think nothing is absurd and is hypocritical and as big. Remember, K through 12, we spend $800 billion a year, $800 billion. So there's a lot of problems, a lot of stupid policies going around in America, but there's none that's the size of the government monopoly on education. And we're making we're making some progress, but obviously not enough. So
tell me about this ECCA program that you've been promoting. Yeah. What is that?
Well, it's called the Education Children's Choice Act. Starting in 2026, every taxpayer will be able to deduct $1,700 from their tax bill, 100% deduction. So if you owe $1,700 in taxes, you can say, send the $1,700 to a scholarship organization. So it costs you nothing. And, it was in the one big, beautiful bill.
Oh, so it's in law now. It's in law now.
It's in law. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Trump got it through, which was remarkable. I mean, the status quo, the trying to stop it was a vicious fight. And, there was a lot of queasy Republicans who wouldn't go forward either. And Trump made sure that they found their backbone and they voted, we got 100% of the Republican votes, almost zero Democratic votes. And he got it through. And we think this could be a game changing, because it could be $50 to $100 billion a year of money that's available for scholarships. So finally, private schools could start, and they have money to compete with the government schools, because they have a funding program also. So
let me. We just got a couple minutes left, so let me make sure I understand this, Jeff, and that our listeners do. So I'm a taxpayer, right? I have federal tax liability. Can I take this deduction from? How does it work for someone who wants to be, to contribute to the program?
The IRS form hasn't been written yet, but when it will be, we're hoping you just check a box and say, I owe $5,000 in taxes, send $1,700 off to a scholarship organization.
Oh, wow.
Authorized. And then it costs you absolutely nothing. But
because in other words, so in that instance, I would pay $3,300 to the government and then $1,700 for this scholarship program. That who decides where that money goes?
Well, you can pick your scholarship program.
Oh my God! Wow.
Scholarship programs will say these are the kind of ideas that we like to support, or whatever, and you can choose.
So, folks, it costs you nothing. So, if you care about kids, this is a great way to help children get a better education at no cost to you.
Exactly. It was a minor miracle.
Amazing.
That passed. Yeah,
that is. It's amazing that we're able to beat back the teachers' unions on that. Well, Jeff, there is probably.
I know you don't like tariffs, Steve. I know you don't like tariffs, but Trump may have made up for his tariff problems by getting this bill passed. Okay?
Well, I mean, my God, how many people do you think could be helped by this? I mean, hundreds of thousands of kids, maybe millions.
We're hoping it's a lot more. We're hoping it's a lot more than that.
Wow.
And once people realize, okay, why don't we have this forever? Why is this a new program? It could revolutionize how education gets done in America.
Amazing. I've been talking to Jeff Yass, who has done more for educational opportunity for kids than very, very few people can say more. They have done more for educational choice and providing every child in America a quality education. What a concept. Jeff, thanks for what you do. Thanks for your amazing contribution to the University of Austin. Keep it up, my friend. We need you. And we will be right back, folks. This is the More Money Show.
Thanks for listening to More Money with Steve Moore. You can hear More Money with Steve Moore Saturday afternoons at 1. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder,
what the heck is going on here?
If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy.
Download and subscribe
at BeBullish.com.